study done in the Journal of Pediatrics in an article called Tutors at Risk of Concussion Hide Symptoms, done by Hope Reeves, it said that 66% of all sports injuries are resulted from cheerleading. And it goes on to say that some of these result in permanent disability, and it said that it increased by 500% from the year 1980 to 2007. These are really hard to overlook, but cheerleading has been overlooked for many years. But today it has turned into something that is really hard to turn your head away from. In the next few minutes, I will show you what cheerleading started, how it started, and what it's evolved into now. Ready? Okay. So you'll find that the earliest cheerleading started in the 1860s, and in fact, it wasn't showcased on television until 1978, according to Valerie Delp. And although it started out as simply yelling cheers from the sidelines, it has evolved into so much more. And over the years, it has grown into something that, according to the American Association of Cheerleading Coaches and Administrators, has the strength of football, the grace of dance, and the agility of gymnastics. Now, when you think of cheerleading, you probably think, especially if you're in high school sports, of a bunch of girls on the sidelines just yelling cheers. So you might be thinking, I wonder if a female invented cheerleading. If you are thinking this, you are sorely mistaken. Women were actually allowed to cheer until 1923. In 1869, a man named Thomas Peebles, that went to Princeton University, was at a game. And at this game, his school had an all-male pep club. And they were just cheering on their team. And he took this to his friend named Johnny Kimball at the University of Minnesota, and their team was losing. So he got a bunch of guys together, and he was like, come on guys, let's root on our team. And the first organized cheer is rah rah rah, ski-u-ma, hoorah, hoorah, varsity, varsity, Minnesota, according to Varsity. So, the industry has actually grown a lot. Things started to get more intense eventually. People were getting on each other's backs, and they started tumbling, and they were doing round-offs and cartwheels, and they were doing jumps like X's, and more females started getting involved in it, and less males started getting involved in it. It shifted to mostly girls. And now I will show you a video from 1967. This is a high school squad from 1967. This is about when it all started for all girls. So, now I will show you a video from 2016. This was just a few months ago. So cheerleading has obviously evolved immensely since even the year 1960. Today we have a lot more rules and regulations of cheerleading, even in the high school realm of cheerleading. The definition of a cheerleader, according to the Webster 2004 dictionary, is a person who directs organized cheering, especially at sporting events. I don't know about you, but according to the video I just saw, I don't think that's quite accurate. Cheerleaders actually can practice anywhere from 1 time a week to 5 times a week, or even every single day. Now we have all-star cheerleading. All-star cheerleading is pretty intense. You can pay high amounts of money for this. This includes competition fees, coaches fees, music fees, just your practice rate. Your uniform can cost up to like $500. It's crazy. There's a panel of judges, and they judge you on a lot of things, like your jumps, your stunt technique, your how well they liked your routine, just in general, how well you performed at your facial expressions. There's just so much that goes into it, and your synchronization, even. There's different divisions, levels, and sizes. It goes from levels 1 to 6, and 6 is more like college-level stunts. Level 1 is pretty beginner stuff. There's a lot of pressure to be perfect in the cheerleading world. Like at a competition like NCAA in Dallas, it can be like 0.1 point of a difference can be last place to first place. In NCAA in Dallas, 25,000 athletes performed for the NCAA national title. Wait, 25,000 athletes performed for something that is still arguably not a sport? Cheerleading is in fact a sport, in case you're wondering, as crazy as it may be. On January 27, 2009, there was an injury at a cheerleading practice and a lawsuit got involved. And the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that it is in fact a full contact sport and that no one could be sued because it is a full contact sport. So if anyone got injured on accident, that it was a sport. So no one could be sued. But if you're still uneasy about the idea, the definition of a sport, according to Google, is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. The twists, flips, and jumps that cheerleaders do are in fact skills. They are in a team, they compete against each other, and they're providing entertainment. Cheerleading perfectly fits this definition, but just to prove a point, I did a Twitter poll for 5 hours on my Twitter. I asked whether or not I thought my followers thought that cheerleading was a sport, and I got 37 replies, and 78% said yes, it is a sport, and 22% said no. This means about 8 people still don't understand that cheerleading is a sport. The industry definitely still has places to reach. So, in conclusion, as a result of the growing difficulty of cheerleading, there have been more injuries involved than ever. And despite the odd start of a bunch of men getting together to cheer on their team, it has grown into something that nobody thought that it would. It is one of the most visually pleasing sports of the decade. So I hope after hearing the background of cheerleading, you guys will have more insight on the sport.